I am Sam. Because of old age, we had just lost 2 more of our many animals that we had saved from abusive situations. I was not in the mood to take on any more animals, mainly because of the high veterinary costs that we had incurred throughout the years. Hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. A process we began almost 10 years ago, and one that has caused us many, many hardships. As the wife and I were driving near the airport, all at once she turned into the Glenn County Animal Shelter and came to a stop. "What are we doing here?" I asked her. "I'm not sure," she replied. I watched as she opened her door and began walking toward the fence building. "Going to come in with me?" "I'm not going in there," I almost screamed at her. I sat watching as she disappeared into the large white building. There's just something about dog pounds that I always hated. Maybe it was being locked in a cage. Maybe it was the sounds of animals wanting to be rescued and loved. Feelings that I knew very well as an abused little boy living at the Children's Home Society Orphanage in Jacksonville, Florida. "Roger!" yelled Judy several minutes later. When I turned around, I saw her standing in a small, fenced area, a mid-sized black and tan dog jumping all over her. I got out of the truck and walked over to the fence. "Isn't he beautiful?" she asked me. I just shook my head and began walking back to the truck. "Will you please come in here?" she hollered. I stopped, turned around, and began walking toward the main building. Once inside, I was led down a long hallway. Dogs were barking everywhere. It was almost deafening. As I walked along, I tried not to look at the hundreds of animals screaming and barking at me. As I entered the small fenced viewing area where Judy was waiting, the dog began to jump on me. When I ran my hand down his back, I noticed a large scar. I asked the attendant what had caused the injury. She told me that he had been beaten with a metal coat hanger. Looking down at my legs, I looked at the many scars that I too had received as a child while living in a Jacksonville, Florida orphanage. I too had been beaten many times with such an instrument. I felt my neck begin to swell and my throat begin to tighten. Very quickly, I began walking toward the main entrance to get the hell out of that building as quickly as possible. "His name's Sam and he's going to be put down tomorrow. They're going to put him to sleep," yelled Judy. "We just can't afford to save any more animals," I whispered to myself. Unable to speak, I walked to the truck, closed and locked the door, and I wiped my burning red eyes. There was a battle going on inside my heart. It was a very difficult battle indeed, one that I knew I would lose, but it was one that I had to fight. As Sam lies on the bed between my wife and me tonight, for some reason, he begins to lick the scars on my leg. In the faint light of the television, I reach over and I begin to pat him on his large scar. And I whisper to myself, "Yes, I am Sam."